Yo, what's good with y'all, man? It's Yooooooo Hoops, and today we about to be talking about some hoops. How y'all boys doing, man? I hope y'all had a good Thanksgiving, even though it's been a couple of days, but that's besides the point. Y'all see the title of today's video. We about to be doing the top 5 rankings of the power forward in today's league. And now that we're at a decent point in the season, standings are shaping up and players are averaging what they're probably gonna, or close to whatever they're gonna be averaging for the rest of the season. It's a pretty good time to break down and analyze who are the best at each position. Some history is going to play a factor in this, but I'm not going to be sitting up here putting Blake Griffin in the honorable mention just because he was a former All-Star. You feel what I'm saying? So there is some form of relevance to the last season and season beforehand, but mostly relevant to this season and how teams are doing and how players are performing on a consistent basis. With that being said, though, I want you guys to leave a like on the video if you end up enjoying it, and subscribe to the channel if you're new, man. What you doing? This is Yooooooo Hoops. We get litty at this section. And if you ain't new, welcome back. You know, we live in a positionless era of basketball right now, so if you see someone like a Siakam on this list, even though he's been playing a lot of his minutes at center this season, I just consider him and players like Anthony Davis more so like power forwards. It's not really that big a deal. On to other news, though. The honorable mentions for the official top 5 is going to be consisting of Lauri Markkanen, Jeremy Grant, Kyle Kuzma, Julius Randle, and Evan Mobley. And the highlight of the honorable mention had to go to Jeremy Grant. It was very tough choosing between him and who I got in the 5th spot for this list, because Jeremy Grant's improvement on offense has been amazing. He's very much suited to the role and the scoring option that he got in Portland, and he's just been very consistent as a scoring option for them, even with Dame dealing with injuries. I mean, he's been their go-to or secondary scoring option next to Anthony Simons, and his improvements on offense has translated to some wins. Now, they're not the greatest team in the world, but I do feel like he just had some doubts on his skill set, contributing to the wins, putting up empty stats in Detroit. So not only does he have some defensive versatility for the team, but he's gotten a tighter handle. His shot creation on all 3 levels has gotten better. And overall, his efficiency as a scorer has him seeing career highs across the board in every advanced metric that has to do with his offense. Now, at the 5th spot, we got Karl-Anthony Towns. And yes, although I touched on this in my last video when I covered Gobert in the top 5 rankings for centers, it isn't looking so pretty in Minnesota right now, but that doesn't take away from why I got him within this list. Offensively, although he is shooting a career low percentage from 3 right now, I do expect that to go up as the season prolongs, as he's still one of the better mid-range shooters in the league. And although the post-ups isn't great, he's still a mismatch for certain wings, both on offense and defense. And I'm not gonna lie, even speaking on the defense, he is part of the problem in Minnesota. His body language on that end and leadership is terrible. And him making that transition to guarding more so wings than stagnant centers has been more of a challenge for him, as he is just a negative for their roster on the defensive end. I can't even lie. I can't sugarcoat it, man. I just can't. Rudy Gobert is carrying a lot of the defensive responsibility over there, but without getting too much off topic when it comes to Towns, he has made significant strides as a playmaker and doing his best to make this duo work when it comes to Rudy Gobert on the offensive end. I've even seen him connect some lobs on the offensive end to Rudy Gobert, which has been crazy considering that they're 2 7-footers. To be honest and give props to Towns, despite his touches and usage rate decreasing this season, he's finding other ways to be useful within the offense and making this chemistry work the best way he can, despite his body language not showing it sometimes. He's averaging a career high 5 assists, and despite, like I said, the 3-point percentage not being where we know he can have it at, he's still finishing in the restricted area at a whopping 75%, while steadily shooting around his normal true shooting percentage of 63%, and being within the top 15 to 20 range in terms of efficiency around the league. Coming in at the number 4 spot, I got Zion Williamson of the New Orleans Pelicans. It's a bit debatable between him or Towns. They're dominant on the offensive end within their respective ways, but in my sheer opinion, I just believe that Zion is a lot more dominant as an offensive option than Karl-Anthony Towns. He might not have the shooting prowess that Towns has, barely even taking fucking 10 threes in the season despite having 14 games played under his belt, but he's still shooting an honest 37% on those attempts. And to be real with you, if he develops that jump shot, it is over. But not speaking in the realm of ifs, ands, and buts, He's one of the league leaders in points in the paint and score very efficiently within the paint given his size and stature, which we knew about Zion coming into the NBA, but he's just proving it time and time again that he is really that dominant down below. He is still recovering from a season-long injury from last season, and the man is still coming back averaging 22 points per game. But again, the dude doesn't even have a jump shot, and he's averaging 22 points within only playing 30 minutes a night. Props to the man Zion for being able to do this in today's three-point era. He's finishing at 67% within the restricted area and being 57% from the field on the season. One of the more efficient scorers beside Jokic, attempting less than 16 field goals per game, while the man's damage and more than half his field goals attempted is within the painted area. Now, while I would like to see him get to the free throw line a bit more and finish with that right hand a bit more consistently, he's still a pretty dominant offensive scoring option. And I can truthfully say with my chest that there isn't a single defender in the NBA that is strong enough to stop Zion when he decides to bulldoze his way to the rim. On the defensive end, there is still a lot to be desired, being that number one, he is coming off of a season-long injury. Number two, his build, it does make it harder for him to shift so seamlessly. You notice it in his dribble or even on the form of his jump shot, and it is a bit stiff. And that just comes with the muscle, man. I mean, we even see it from players like Giannis and Westbrook. Aside from that, though, his lateral quickness isn't the greatest. It's not the sharpest. His wingspan isn't at long, but he does use his vertical and athletic advantages within the low post to guard certain offensive players when it comes to using his strength. And on top of that, I mean, shit, the Pelicans are both sitting at in top 5 offensive rating and top 5 defensive ratings, as he's part of some of their best defensive lineups. So I guess his impact on that end of the floor can be bad for them on that end overall. Next up is Anthony Davis, and despite the Lakers' struggle this season, Anthony Davis has managed to step up his game once LeBron was hurt this season. Now, while I don't expect him to finish the season averaging 30 and 10, he was replicating somewhat close to those numbers when LeBron went out with his injury this season, averaging about 28 points and 14 rebounds in his past 10 games, along with some help with Westbrook readjustment to that 6-man role on the bench. And I'm not even going to hold you, Anthony Davis, as of late, has been putting up MVP-type numbers. He is sitting within the top 15 leaders for almost every major statistical category, including points per game, blocks per game, steals per game, efficiency rating, and leading the league in rebounding. Though the three ball is struggling right now, as he's only hit 1 in his last 11 games, as he is shooting a piss poor 21% on the season from 3. He has taken his dominance to within the paint and has been killing defenses ever since. His mid-range touch has definitely been better, and he's been finishing within the restricted area at a whopping 76%. The Lakers are sitting on a top 10 defense, and he is a big contributor in that, as he is averaging close to 2.5 blocks and damn near 2 steals. He's putting on a Defensive Player of the Year clinic this season right now, and as long as he can stay healthy, I definitely believe he deserves to be top 3 in that conversation at the very least. Gotta give props to Anthony Davis to finally tapping back into that superstar talent that most NBA fans expected of him when he got traded to the Lakers. As LeBron ages, we did look for him to be more aggressive as a scorer, and he's been proven that he can keep that same consistency as the primary option for this Lakers team despite their injury struggles this season. Now, I'll be real with you, we got to see this throughout the whole course of a season, and we're hoping that this man can remain healthy. Don't even get me started on the man's versatility on both ends, as he's able to guard any position in the league effectively, fulfill any task you ask for him on defense. If you need him to guard the other team's best ball handler, he can do that. If he wants to protect the rim at an elite level, he does that. And then on the offensive end, he can create any shot for himself within the three-point area. Him being a lob threat as soon as you pass half court, or him just being an effective roller after setting a screen. The man just has a multitude of ways to get you 2 points on the board, whether it's through post-ups or just him getting a crafty bucket around the basket. After a rocky start to the season, I respect Anthony Davis' tenacity, as he has been hustling more on the rebounding end and making more of a conscious effort to attack the basket more consistently, with the three ball not working for him these past 2 seasons. Now, at the second spot, and I understand that this might be an unpopular opinion being with how AD has played in recent games, but Siakam was going crazy before his injury. In his return game, he did only have 18 points, 11 rebounds, and 5 assists with only 2 turnovers. And while that stat line might not seem impressive to you, this dude is playing on a minutes restriction due to his adductor injury. Beforehand, he was already showing massive improvements in his playmaking ability. Mind you, we're talking about a man in his sophomore season who barely averaged 2 assists and wasn't really seen by many people, including myself, to be a focal point in a team's offense. Continuing to be a terror in transition, Siakam has elevated his game to a point where his passing IQ is definitely becoming a heightened awareness when he is on the floor. Not only is Siakam averaging a career high in assists, but he's also been managing his assist to turnover ratio, as through the years he was slightly becoming a better passer. But this season, it seems like it's really peaking and becoming a legitimate addition to his game, despite the small sample size. In a matchup against Philly a few weeks ago prior to his injury, he dished out a career-high 13 assists while only having 1 turnover. In a few games before that, he had 11 assists with only 3 turnovers. And aside from his first game of the season, the man has been having like 5 assists or more in every single game he's played this season. And I know 10, 11 games, again, isn't a crazy sample size, but to me personally, that's enough of a sample size to notice that it's a significant improvement in his game. And especially on the fact that he's added a tighter handle to his game as well. You know that I was somebody that was very critical of him spamming that post-spin technician. And now he's getting in his bag, becoming an even better isolation scorer, being able to efficiently score from all 3 levels of the floor, while also being a Swiss Army knife on the defensive end as well. Now, I won't say that he's a better rim protector than AD is, but Siakam is no slouch there as well, as he is one of the more versatile defenders we have in the league. Coming in at the number 1 spot, we got Giannis Antetokounmpo, who in my opinion is the best player in the entire world right now. Having an NBA regular season that is admirable, of being top 3 in the MVP conversation right now, but Giannis is putting up averages of 30 points and 12 rebounds while only playing 32 minutes a game. He's been proving that he's one of the best help side defenders in the league, also contending for the Defensive Player of the Year award, and is largely responsible for the hot start that Milwaukee was off to start off the season without his co-star Chris Middleton to a 9-0 start. Not to mention that 3 seasons prior that he was also largely responsible for the franchise's 2nd longest winning streak in 2019 when he won his first MVP for 18 consecutive wins. The man is already a 2-time MVP, 1 Defensive Player of the Year award already, All-Star MVP, Finals MVP, and an NBA champion, all in the span of 5 years, and the man is still in his prime, ready to win some more. I'm not gonna lie, Giannis is still the same dominant Giannis, so there isn't really any significant improvements or weaknesses in his game that we didn't already know about the man. But he does still continue to keep defenses honest, resorting to his jump shot at times, whether it's going within the post with a fadeaway, or he'll settle for a jump shot if the defense gives it to him. As most NBA fans know, when it comes to Giannis and shooting, it is widely acknowledged as the main Achilles heel in his game, as the man is a 60% free throw shooter on the season and shooting 23% from 3 on only 3 attempts a game. But he has not needed that part of his game to elevate in order for him to transcend as a superstar talent in this league. And it has not stopped the man from putting up yet another MVP-like season, with his team sitting firmly amongst the top seeds in the Eastern Conference. As much as I can sit up here and say that Giannis being number 1 at this list should be the consensus expectation for most NBA fans watching this video, you let me know in the comments down below if you disagree or agree with any of the rankings I had on this top 5 list, or if there was anybody in the honorable mention that you feel like should have made the official top 5 in itself. If you guys enjoyed the video though, leave a like down below, subscribe to the channel if you're new, you feel me? We got other positions coming up soon, and if you want to see that, leave a like down below so we can get those videos out faster. That being said, y'all, if you ain't subscribed, subscribe, man. We get litty in this section. It's been Yooooooo talking about some hoops. And y'all be easy, bro.